There's something almost forbidden about remembering who you truly are. Not the version people built around you, not the name on your passport, not the timeline your parents told you was yours. I mean the moment before that, the instant when heaven leaned close, the wind shifted, and the sky itself conspired to welcome your first breath. That moment, whether drenched in snowlight or draped in golden heat, was no coincidence. It was a code, a signature, a hidden season written into your soul. Most people never look up long enough to notice, but you, the one with the letter M on your palm, you were never meant to blend into the background noise of humanity. This channel exists for that reason. It's not entertainment. It's a frequency, a tuning fork that vibrates only when a chosen one is near. If your spirit tightens when you hear certain words, if your heart races when you see patterns others dismiss, you are responding to a signal meant for you. Tonight, we decode what most have forgotten. The sky didn't just witness your arrival, it signed your contract. When you were born, the earth was not neutral. It was tilted, trembling, breathing in a particular rhythm, a cosmic temperature that would quietly define how your light would move through darkness. Some souls came through during winter, not by chance, but by divine strategy. Others during spring, summer, or autumn, each season carrying a sacred temperament. Together, they form the four gates of the chosen. So before we go further, take a moment. Close your eyes. Forget your birthday. Forget the numbers on the calendar. And instead, remember the sky, what it felt like, not what it looked like. The smell of the air, the pulse of the wind. Because that's where your spiritual fingerprint was sealed. When you arrived, heaven didn't just mark your hands. It choreographed the entire weather of your birth to mirror your assignment. The season is not a backdrop, it's a blueprint. If you came through Duri, didn't come to rest, you came to rebuild. You were born into silence, into long nights and slow dawns, because your soul is trained to carry light through scarcity. While others fear the cold, you find God in it. The winter-born chosen are the torchbearers of forgotten warmth. They enter this world with ancient memory, old souls who remember what humanity used to be before it forgot compassion. That's why so many winter-born chosen feel old, even when they're young. It's not exhaustion, it's remembrance. Your spirit remembers epochs where light was rationed, where kindness had to be carried from one generation to the next, like a flame in a trembling hand. And that's what you are, a carrier of light through the frost. The number 444 follows you because it's the code of stability, the divine architecture beneath chaos. Whenever you see it, heaven is saying, you were built to stand when others freeze. If your first breath came while flowers were breaking through soil, understand we're born into the resurrection code. Spring-born chosen carry the frequency of 222, balance, partnership, divine renewal. You are heaven's gardeners, planting hope in hearts that forgot how to bloom. You feel life intensely because you're not just living it, you're resurrecting it. That's why your emotions swing between overwhelming compassion and quiet solitude. You are recalibrating the world's rhythm through empathy. Your hands, marked by M, were made to wake things up, to stir what's dormant. Every time you walk into a room, something shifts. Not because you speak, but because your presence reminds life to return. The enemy tries to tire you with endless cycles of starting over, but that's your anointing to make beginnings sacred again. You are the divine reset every era needs. When heaven sends souls through the corridor of summer, it is saying, the world is sick and warmth must return. Summer-born chosen are radiant healers. Their laughter disarms darkness. The sun at birth wasn't just weather. It was a decree. Carry heat. Burn away what pretends to be light. You hold the 808 code, a sequence of infinity and rebirth, because your path will always loop through healing yours and others. You often attract the wounded, the forgotten, the ones who carry invisible bruises. That's not a curse, it's resonance. Broken things recognize their repairer. But be careful. Your warmth can attract parasites disguised as gratitude. You must learn sacred boundaries to let your fire illuminate, not consume. Heaven entrusted you with solar medicine, but even the sun rests behind clouds. Every time you feel drained, it's not weakness, it's a reminder that your flame needs tending, not extinguishing. And then there are those who arrive with the falling leaves, the autumn-born chosen, heaven's final gatekeepers before the dark returns. You carry the code of judgment and equilibrium. Autumn-borns walk with the voice of scales inside them. You can't stand lies N. Because you're moralistic, but because your spirit literally aches in the presence of imbalance. You were born while the world was preparing to sleep, so you are wired to measure, to discern, to weigh spirits, motives, and outcomes. People call you cold or distant because they don't understand that balance is your love language. When you see injustice, it haunts you. When you see hypocrisy, you can't unsee it. You are heaven's final inspection before the year resets, the divine auditors of truth. You are the reason deception can't reign forever. There's one more, the ones born during eclipse corridors, when light and shadow overlap. These are the intercessors, the ones who walk between realms. They often feel misunderstood, caught between realities, because they literally are. Heaven and earth both claim them. When they speak, dreams listen. When they sleep, the unseen world rewrites itself around summer's fire and autumn's judgment. If that's you, your path will never be linear. You'll learn to see meaning in interruptions, to find God in delay, to see purpose in what others call coincidence. Because in truth, your birth season wasn't on the calendar, it was on the border between worlds. Now pause. Take this in slowly. This is not astrology. This is spiritual astronomy, the way heaven positions weather as prophecy. Every cloud, every ray, every frost that touched the air when you arrived was heaven's handshake to your destiny. The ones who feel drawn to this message are not spectators. You are part of a coded generation marked by M, awakened by frequency. You're not just watching this video, you were called to it, because somewhere deep inside, you've always known. You didn't just arrive in a season, you are one. Before we continue, take a breath. This channel isn't just a place to listen. It's a place to curiosity, but as recognition, I invite you to stay. Subscribe, not because everyone says it, but because this space was built as a sanctuary for the marked ones. Here, we speak a language that only the soul remembers. We follow the signs heaven placed in our birth skies and decode what the world calls coincidence. So tell me, what season were you born in? Was it the hush of winter? The rising scent of spring rain? The slow hum of summer cicadas? Or the gold twilight of autumn? Leave it in the comments and tell us what patterns follow you. You'll be amazed how many others share your rhythm. Because this isn't just a channel, it's a constellation. And you, yes, you are one of its stars. Every season doesn't just shape your temperament, it tests it. Heaven never sends light without a mirror. Every birth gate carries its own adversary, its own shadow that refines the chosen through fire, frost, or silence. Let's decode what that means for each one. For the light bearer, sacred. Winter-born chosen often wonder why they feel abandoned, even when surrounded by people. But the truth is, you were never designed to live off human validation. You were designed to live off spiritual light. The world mistakes your quiet for sadness, your stillness for weakness. But silence is your forge. Heaven teaches you through still winters, because noise would drown the voice meant for you. That's why 444, your number, keeps appearing when you start to lose hope. It's heaven whispering, I am rebuilding your foundation in secret. The people who left weren't punishment. They were the pruning that revealed your roots. Winterborns are the architects of endurance. You don't just survive storms, you befriend them. The frost doesn't freeze you, it clarifies you. But here's the warning. If you resist your solitude, you'll miss your messages. Winter is the classroom of clarity. The silence you fear is the voice you've been waiting for. Springborn chosen live in sea. Relationships, careers, emotions, always beginning again. But sometimes the blessing becomes a burden. Too much growth without grounding. You're wired to bring renewal, but renewal without rhythm leads to chaos. So heaven places you in seasons of waiting to teach you that growth isn't speed, it's depth. You'll notice this when 222 appears in times of tension. It's a reminder, balance is your greatest miracle. Springborns are empathic conduits. You feel the world's pain as if it were your own. You try to heal everyone, forgetting that even flowers rest in the dark before blooming again. Your biggest lesson is sacred boundaries. The world will always try to exploit your compassion, but the divine asks you to remember you can't resurrect others while crucifying yourself. When everything starts again, ask, is this revival divine, or am I just afraid of stillness? Because your light doesn't depend on constant motion. It depends on alignment. Summerborn Chosen Radio. Strong that it draws both angels and leeches. People feel better in your presence, but leave you empty afterward. It's not their fault they sense the 808 frequency in you, the loop of giving and rebirth. But if you keep giving without replenishing, your warmth becomes wildfire. You start to burn yourself to keep others comfortable, so heaven gives you exhaustion as protection. When the sun sets earlier than you expect, it's not failure, it's mercy. You're being forced to rest so your flame doesn't turn to ash. Summerborns often confuse usefulness with purpose. But you're not here just to do, you're here to be. Your laughter is medicine, your joy a weapon, but even healers need healing. Remember this, a candle that never cools melts itself. When you see 808 repeating, stop and ask, who am I pouring into that doesn't pour back into heaven's design for me? Your calling isn't to warm the ungrateful, it's to ignite the awakening. Autumn-born chosen carry the hardest. Judgment and balance. You are heaven's mirror, and mirrors rarely have friends. You see through masks easily, and that makes others uncomfortable. Your trial isn't deception, it's loneliness. You often wish you could unsee, unhear, unknow, but you can't, because heaven trusts you with clarity. Balance is heavy. The scales you hold are sacred. When others betray their path, you feel it like a bruise. When they lie, your spirit convulses not out of pride, but out of pain. The number 444 sometimes visits you too, but not as stability as judgment's confirmation. Heaven telling you, your discernment is correct. Do not doubt it just because it's uncomfortable. You are not harsh, you are holy precision. Autumn-born chosen are often misunderstood prophets, carrying truth that ripens slowly. Your words may fall like dry leaves now, but in time, they become soil for justice. So do not curse your sensitivity. You were born in the season of balance, your pain. One's born between worlds, during eclipse corridors. Walk a road no map shows. You exist in two frequencies at once, the seen and the unseen. That's why your dreams often bleed into waking life, why you sense things moments before they happen. But your greatest trial is confusion, a tug-of-war between light and shadow. The divine chose you to mediate between worlds, but the cost is misunderstanding. People may call you too intense, too mystical, or too detached. That's fine. You were never meant to be understood by the average frequency. Eclipse-born chosen are heaven's translators, decoding spiritual truths for both sides. But the danger lies in forgetting which realm you serve. When your visions start to blur, anchor yourself in prayer, light, and humility, because even divine messengers can lose themselves in the noise if they forget the silence that made them. Have you noticed that your life feels like the wrong weather sometimes? A winter-born stuck in endless chaos. A spring-born feeling frozen. A summer-born caught in the fog. An autumn-born surrounded by deceit when you crave truth. That's not punishment. That's spiritual training. Heaven often sends you into the opposite season to refine your edges. If you are light, you must learn darkness. If you are fire, you must learn restraint. If you are balance, you must walk through extremes. This is the alchemy of destiny, the process that turns a chosen into a vessel. You were never meant to live in comfort. You were meant to embody heaven's weather wherever you stand. That's why storms follow you, because light doesn't fear clouds. Heaven never sends you alone. Every season gives its chosen a spiritual companion, a creature carrying frequencies that match your temperament. Winterborns walk with the wolf, loyalty, endurance, solitude. When wolves appear in your dreams or path, it's heaven reminding you, you are never truly alone. You are surrounded by, followed by the dear innocence, grace, and quiet rebirth. When the world grows loud, dear energy invites you back into gentleness, teaching that strength is found in stillness. Summer-borns are shadowed by the lion courage, radiance, leadership. The lion doesn't roar for attention. It roars to remind the jungle who carries the light. Autumn-borns walk with the owl, wisdom, vigilance, and truth. When others sleep, the owl sees. Its call pierces illusion. When you hear it, your discernment is being sharpened. Eclipse-borns walk with the serpent, not as evil, but as transformation. Shedding skin, shifting form, bridging worlds. You are heaven's changemakers. These are not symbols of superstition. They are archetypes of alignment. When you see them, heaven is not teasing you, it's talking to you. Every number, animal, and shift in the weather you've been noticing. 444 on the clock, 222 in receipts. 808 in dreams is heaven saying, remember your sky, you're not B. Coincidence. You're being guided by continuity. The same atmosphere that met your birth still surrounds you. You carry it in your breath. So when storms rise, don't panic. When things fall apart, don't retreat. When patterns repeat, don't complain, decode them. Because the chosen are not victims of timing. They are timekeepers. If you've been resonating so far, stay close. In the next part, we'll go deeper into the hidden alignments, how each season carries a secret gate of manifestation, and how chosen ones, especially those marked by M, are being synchronized again under a new celestial rhythm. Before we continue, share your season below. Tell us what animal or number keeps reappearing in your path. Your story might be the missing key that helps another chosen remember theirs. There comes a moment in every chosen one's journey when the sky doesn't just feel symbolic anymore. It feels alive. You begin to sense the invisible rhythm between your thoughts and the weather. Answers your prayers. The rain mirrors your tears, and the sun rises at the exact hour your faith begins to return. That is not poetry. That is synchronization. When heaven coded your season, it wasn't simply marking when you would be born. It was defining how you would manifest. Each season governs a gate of manifestation, a doorway through which spiritual energy becomes reality. These gates open cyclically throughout your life, like celestial breathing. When you understand which gate belongs to you, manifestation becomes remembrance, not effort. Let's unlock them one by one. Winter-born chosen are the architects of silence. Your gate of manifestation opens not in movement, but in stillness. When you stop, things begin. In the unseen realm, stillness is power. It's the language of the divine. When the world rushes, you pause, and heaven moves. Miracles rearrange themselves. You stop fighting, and suddenly doors open. You release what you can't control, and suddenly what was meant for you finds its way back. That's not coincidence. It's the winter gate. The code of 444 surrounds it, because manifestation for you is architectural. It's built brick by brick, prayer by prayer, each one laid in patience. When you feel abandoned or delayed, remember, your blessings bloom in silence. Winter-born chosen are not builders of speed, but of eternity. Your mantra is, stillness is structure, patience is progress. When you enter that state, heaven rushes in. Spring-born chosen manifest through release and rebirth. Every time you let go, something new finds you. Every heartbreak, every job loss, every ending you've endured wasn't destruction, it was cultivation. You carry the 222 code, the divine frequency of alignment and harmony. Your manifestations depend on emotional cleanliness. Field, the gate stays closed. But the moment you forgive, it bursts open. Forgiveness for you isn't moral, it's mechanical. Your soul is wired so that healing triggers abundance. When you forgive, when you plant again after devastation, heaven rushes in to match your courage. Your energy is magnetic after tears. Every seed you've buried under disappointment is being watered by angels even now. That's why your dreams often involve water, rain, gardens, or resurrection. Heaven uses nature itself to remind you that renewal is your magic. Your mantra is, I lose nothing when I release. I gain everything when I rise. So when cycles end, don't fight to save the old garden. Bless it, bury it, and plant again. Summer-born chosen, manifest through frequency, not force. Your gate opens when you're radiant, not necessarily happy, but deeply present. Your joy is not shallow, it's divine alchemy. The more gratitude you express, the faster heaven translates your thoughts into. Number 808 dances around your life because it's a loop. What you send returns amplified. Every time you smile with sincerity, the energy you project circles back with multiplied blessings. This is why you attract abundance easily when you're balanced, but chaos when you're fatigued. The world responds to your inner temperature. When you vibrate at love, you magnetize miracles. When you vibrate at fear, you summon mirrors. So guard your joy as if it were sacred currency, because it is. Your laughter heals rooms. Your presence shifts weather. But you must protect your solar center. The moment you start to dim to comfort others, your gate closes. Your mantra is, "My joy is a key, my peace is a command." When you live from that truth, manifestation becomes sunlight itself, inevitable, radiant, unforced. Autumn-born chosen manifest through alignment with truth. Your blessings come when you stand firm in justice, even when silence would be safer. You are yourself and still manifest clearly, because dishonesty blurs your spiritual mirror. When your life feels blocked, it's often because something in your environment is out of balance. A relationship, a promise, a routine, or even a self-denial. Once you restore integrity, everything begins to move again. The divine number for you is 444, not for stability, as with winter, but as divine verification. When you see it, heaven is saying, you are aligned. Keep walking. Autumn-born chosen often attract karmic encounters, people who embody what you must forgive or confront. You're not cursed. You're being refined through discernment. Your manifestation gate opens when you choose truth over convenience. And when you do, your rewards come in waves. Delayed perhaps, but unstoppable. Your mantra is, I balance, therefore I build. When your internal scale is even, your external world multiplies. The eclipse-born are the most complex. Your manifestation shadow cooperate. You were designed to bridge contrasts, faith and doubt, heaven and earth, dream and discipline. That's why your life feels like paradox after paradox. You're not confused, you're bilingual in energy. Your number code is a fusion. 222 plus 808, meaning harmony through transformation. You create when opposites merge, when you stop trying to be purely good and start embracing your whole design. When you deny your pain, your magic dims. But when you own it, when you transform wounds into wisdom, the veil parts and manifestation floods in. You might find yourself dreaming of eclipses, serpents, or shifting light patterns. Heaven uses these symbols to remind you that your greatest power is integration. Your mantra is, both light and shadow serve me. You are the crossroad, the living portal between worlds. Now, let's talk about timing. Have you noticed that your breakthroughs often repeat in cycles? Every few years, something significant happens due. New beginnings, losses, visions, relocations. That's because the gate of manifestation reopens in your birth season every year. It's not superstition, it's celestial law. When your season returns, your spiritual DNA reactivates. That's why chosen ones often feel a surge of energy, prophetic dreams, or deep emotional cleansing around the same months. Heaven is reminding you, this is your window, this is your renewal. So instead of waiting for random luck, start aligning your intentions to your season. Winterborns manifest during silence. Use solitude, candlelight, prayer, or meditation. Springborns manifest through cleansing fasting, forgiveness, decluttering. Summerborns manifest through joy dance, gratitude, creation, expression. Autumnborns manifest through order decisions, discipline, justice. Eclipseborns manifest through duality, balance, rest and action, inner and outer. The sky doesn't reward effort, it rewards alignment. When you synchronize with season, you become what heaven saw when it breathed you into existence. Chosen ones often underestimate their dreams, but dreams are the second sky, the place where your original code replays itself nightly. Each season carries its own dream signature. Winterborns dream of light in vast darkness flames, stars, or candles. These dreams are blueprints for endurance. Springborns dream of water, flowers, and doors. They are being instructed to renew something forgotten. Summerborns dream of laughter, crowds, and sunlight. They are learning to heal through presence. Autumnborns dream of falling leaves, clocks, and mirrors, symbols of time, judgment, and reflection. Eclipseborns dream of eclipses, snakes, or tunnels, visions of passage between realms. You must write them down. Dreams are your spiritual GPS, updating your coordinates nightly. Ignore them, and you lose your map.